Behold, the ultimate street car. The Lister Storm V12. Now, you may be wondering why I call it the ultimate street car. It's a weird car, but it's very cool. It's got the transmission, brakes, and cornering abilities of a race car. Yet, it has a meager output of only 829 horsepower, something like 707 foot-pounds torque at the rear wheels. That's very average for a race car. So I say it's a race car with the power plant of a street car. Now you'd be wondering, doesn't that let the car down? Doesn't it suck? Not really. The transmission is quick, shifts are really nice on it, brakes are amazing, as I'm sure you've noticed. It grips like nobody's business. It pulls 2 Gs all day long through the turns. It's amazing. Very fun car to drive in the short tracks. And as long as you aren't fighting race cars that are too high tier, I mean, as long as you aren't fighting like a Sauber Mercedes, you can hang with them in the turns. It's just that when the road opens up, you may have some trouble keeping up. I mean, my Corvette C5R makes much more horsepower than this one does, and it's got similar road holding abilities. But if you can excuse the car's lack of output, and also the excess weight. It weighs something like 1,300 kilograms in stock tune, and you can't reduce that weight at all. That's why I say it's more of a street car. Because it's just heavy and a bit underpowered. It is good for ramming, though, I must admit. I've run quite a few enemies off the road. It's more of a brawler. I mean, it is a fun car to drive as well. And it does go pretty fast. I mean, 6th gear gets you all the way to, I believe, 225 miles an hour, which is not bad. That's without adjusting the final drives or anything. So, and look at that corner. I mean, that's a lot of grip. It's a great car. But it's just limited. I do enjoy driving it a lot, though. I've driven this car, in terms of actual miles, I've driven almost as much as my Corvette C4. I'm sorry for knocking the camera down. That was my fault. Sorry about that. Actually knocking the thing. I'm drinking some soda. Now let's have some fun with camera angles. Oh yeah. I mean, look at the car as alone. I prefer the car from an aesthetic standpoint much more than any other race car. More so than even the Corvette. I mean, for one, it's got that bright yellow paint job, the big spoiler on the back that actually helps provide a lot of downforce. Those big green tears and stripes. You can't go wrong with this car. It's beautiful. It's really fun to drive. Now, granted, I had to do some tuning to the traction control and to the ASM. Nothing too severe. I mean, I played around with the settings until I found handling that was not only consistent, but that was much more in line with my driving style. Because by default, the Lister Storm has some issues putting the power down, and it also skids a little bit too much in the turns. I mean, it's willing to kick its back end out a little bit too much. So, that's why I had my second thoughts when I started driving this car. And I give credit to my friend Joshua Houseling. He drove this car a bit back when he had his old Gran Turismo 4 save, and he told me all about it. And I told him, alright, I'll still win it. It's a nice project car, and man, I'm glad I won it. That Suzuka race was a bitch and a half, but for a car like this, I would do that race 1,000,000 times over. This car's awesome. Just don't think of it as a race car, because it's not. It's just a really, 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 really nice street car. I mean, take the ultimate street car of your front-engine, rear-wheel drive car of your choice that you can get from a car dealership. Let's take a Chevrolet Corvette Z06. That's a nice car. This is basically the ultimate version of that. Sounds like a Ferrari or some other nice high-revving engine to it it's got under it. It's got 6 or 7.7 liter V12. It's pretty powerful. I love how it shoots flames out the exhaust pipe too. It's just a really entertaining car. Now there, I messed up. What I tried to do, there's a certain way you have to corner with this car. You just have to get a feel for its handling. And this car, like a lot of other cars that I've driven and tuned to my liking, when pushed hard, it'll just do what you ask of it. You push it hard, it'll take it inside. It won't fall apart. I mean, it might plow a little bit in the turns if you push it really, really hard and really do something stupid. But It's a car that you can approach its limits much, much, much more successfully than, say, a TBR Cerberus Speed 12. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Cerberus Speed 12 is a really fun car to drive. It's very fast. It'll kick the crap out of this thing in a drag race. But the Cerberus Speed 12, it doesn't have that nice, quick, triple clutch transmission. Its brakes and chassis just aren't quite as good in the turns. So, this is the all-around better car. It's also nice. I mean, actually not nice. It's worth noting with this car, one of the reasons why I had so much trouble with it early on, like when I pushed it maybe 8/10 or 9/10 through a turn, it would literally just slide sideways. It'd be like I was hitting the brakes on an old car that didn't have anti-lock brakes. The car would just plow like crazy. And I realized that was because of all the limited slip crap. I turned all that stuff off as close as I could. I turned all the way to the bottom option, which is 5 for the limited slip strength during acceleration and deceleration, and as well as just the general system tank at 5. Doing that makes all those nannies really unobtrusive. I mean, you can really, really, really feel the difference with this car. You can push it real hard in the turns. Like here, I'm going to do something really crazy. I mean, you could not do something like that with those limited slips working against it, because I would just plow. And this car will only plow if you push it maybe to 11/10, and even then it doesn't always plow. But you'll know when it does. I mean, you'll feel the car stop turning and gripping, and you'll instead feel it plowing the other way. With the limited slips, it did not do that. It just did it at random. The Alfa Romeo race car, that little red sedan, I had the same problem with that car. Turned off all the limited slips, problem went away. Or at least was ameliorated to the point when I could consider the car a daily driver. God, that thing's so nice in the turns, so smooth. Well, you've heard enough of me gloat and gush and rant and rave about how much I love the Lister Storm V12 road car, I'll call it, or street car, because it's not a race car. Don't treat it as such, otherwise you're going to lose. In terms of street cars, it's pretty much at the top of its class. The only car that I can think of off the top of my head that's a street car that can compete with this one, and perhaps win, would be the TBR Cerberus Speed 12. And that's a real stretch. So, enjoy the race and all the fun cornering and antics with the Lister Storm in the meantime. I know I had a lot of fun with it. See what I mean by this car is a great street car? I mean, its acceleration is pretty good, but not race car worthy. Its top speed is pretty good, but not race car worthy. But its handling, that is where it gets its race car credentials from. But for a car to be considered a race car, at least in my book, it's got to do everything well. It's got to accelerate like a bat out of hell. It's got to go really, really, really fast on the long straightaways on Circuit de la Sarthe. It's got to have world-beating brakes that make me think I've got parachutes attached to the back of the car every time I slam on the brakes. It's got to have grip through the turns like I've never driven it before. And above all, it has to be stable at speed and it has to be consistent. The Lister Storm V12 delivers on all those handling promises. It really is a one-of-a-kind car. I mean, there's not a single car in my garage that's quite like this one. And this car will stay in my garage until hell freezes over. It's definitely earned a place with me. Perhaps it'll earn a place with you. Yeehaw! Oops, that's a Toyota Supra. He finished in third. It's a Nissan. He finished in second. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice camera angle there.